To answer the question in the title, sort of. We'll talk about this today. The truth is, you will grow the fastest when you are regularly playing with other people. But sometimes this just isn't possible right away, maybe because where you live or just other circumstances. And so if you can't find other people to play with, or you're afraid to get out there and start playing with others, I know I was, and you're worried that you won't grow as quickly and reach your full potential on the drums because of this obstacle, then today's lesson is for you. You see, by learning songs and recording yourself, you can grow quickly and be prepared for when performance opportunities come. I'll show you how to go about this. You can do this. Hey, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer. I'm so glad you're hanging out today. I help you become the drummer other people want to jam with and want to have in their band. And we do this by teaching you the non-glamorous skills that actually get you the results that you want in the quickest, shortest amount of time as possible. We want to grow quickly. And speaking of growing quickly, and especially speaking of what we're talking about today, which is preparing to play with a band, getting good at learning songs, I've got a free gift for you in the description. I really want you to check this out. It's going to help you out a lot and be a really good visual companion to what we're talking about today. This guide is called 5 Steps to Learning Any Song in Under an Hour. And basically the whole idea here is that you can learn any pop song, like any typical song. You know, we're not talking about crazy stuff, but like any basic song you can learn without drum tabs, without sheet music, without having to consult tutorials. You can learn it by ear when you've got this method under your belt, and you can write a shorthand chart and you can know what to listen for and how to go about this. This guide has been so helpful to so many students. I want you to go check that out, and that's gonna literally, it'll be your visual aid for what we're getting into today. So my free gift to you in the description, go grab the e-guide. Let's dive into today's lesson. So the big issue here is that maybe you can't find performance opportunities. There just aren't opportunities, maybe because of where you live or whatever. Or the other potential issue that puts you in the same spot is maybe there are opportunities, but you're kind of afraid to step out there and take them because you don't feel prepared. And so either way, you're kind of in a bind here because of that whole fear of not being good enough and then not ever being able to become good enough. And it's kind of a catch-22, right? Where if you play with people a bunch, you're going to get a lot better. But how do you get good enough to play with people in the first place? How do you prepare for that? Because sometimes it feels like nothing can really prepare you for that. You just have to do it. So my goal today is to really help you get there and be able to play with people if that's what you want to do. Or if you're one of those drummers, I've had students before who they just want to play in their basement. They just want to play for fun and, you know, maybe jam with a buddy, but they have no big plans of playing in a band. Maybe that's you. And so maybe you just want to know how to get really good at the drums without playing with people. This is going to help you too. So kind of it's those two camps. If you don't ever want to really play with people, this lesson today is going to help you out a bunch. If you do, but you're scared to, this is going to help you out a bunch. Or if you want to, but there aren't really opportunities, this is going to help you out a bunch. By the way, any kind of, playing at church, any kind of jam sessions, playing with friends, those are all fantastic opportunities. And if you have an opportunity to play drums at your church, jump on that. If there's any kind of jam session in town, anywhere nearby, jump on that. If you've got a friend who just started learning guitar or bass, jump on that, go jam with them. Even something as simple as that. I remember doing that with a buddy in high school. We would just get together and jam. We probably sounded horrible, but hey, it was fun, and that's a great place to start. But when it came time, when I was in high school, when it came time for my first actual performance playing with a band, I was terrified, and I felt like nothing could really prepare me for it. It was like, I just never played with people in front of people, and that was a really scary thing. And so many people can relate to that. I get that it's scary the first time you play with a band in front of an audience. But the interesting thing was that I knew how to approach it. I actually knew how to prepare for playing with a band. This was the high school worship band in my church. I got dragged into it because the drummer they had graduated and they couldn't find anybody. And so they really needed somebody, and somebody found out I had been playing drums for like 2 months, maybe 3 months. And so I felt very unprepared, but I got dragged into it, trial by fire. But the interesting thing was I had been just playing songs at home on the drums. I've been playing songs on my little cheap Alesis DM5 electric drum kit. And so I kind of knew how to approach songs. I knew how to listen to a song and learn it and get it in my head. And so I didn't feel completely unprepared. I at least knew how to do that. And that was huge. Yes, playing with a band is very different from playing along with recordings, but if you kind of know how to prepare for it, you know how to learn songs, that helps a bunch. And that's really where we're going today, because by learning songs and recording yourself, you can grow quickly and be prepared for when performance opportunities do come. So really, this is what the action steps today center around: learning songs and recording yourself. So here we go. You ready to dive in? Let's do this. Step number one, I want you to chart and learn one new song a week. Now, there's a lesson here on the YouTube channel that can help you out some with this. It's called 3 Hacks for Cheating Your Way Through a New Song by Ear. Because that's what's key here. When I say learn a new song, I'm not talking about going and finding the drum tabs or the sheet music for it. I want you to learn it by ear. And you can do this even if you haven't done it before. Grab the free guide I told you about a minute ago, because that's going to help you out a lot. It's got example charts, like shorthand charts, and it lays out step by step the whole process of how to learn a song by ear. So be sure to grab that. That's going to help you out. If you can commit to learning one song by ear a week, you're going to grow a whole bunch. And really a good way to go about this, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Day one, so let's say Monday, day one on Monday, just sit down and listen to the song. Pick a song. This can be a favorite song you've already heard a million times. That even makes this easier. Pick the song. Then day 2, write your chart. Day 3, begin practicing it. So we're not stressing at all here, and we're taking our time. Day 1, you're literally just listening to the song. Just sit down, put on some headphones, and just listen over and over again. That free guide, I talk about how to listen critically, what to listen for. That way you can be really productive in that step. And then day 2, write a shorthand chart. That literally just means writing out a roadmap of verse, chorus, bridge, whatever, and just counting measures. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard. It's all laid out in the guide. And so the whole idea is just get the gist of it down on paper. Whatever the core of the song is that you need to remember, just write that down. That way you've got that visual cue, that visual reference later on. And then day 3, begin practicing. And what's cool is you've got the whole rest of the week. You've got another 4 days to just play and listen to the song and play along with the song. And so at that point, if you've picked a simple pop song, you haven't picked a crazy Rush song or a Tool song or some crazy metal song, then this is not that complicated. And so you can then just get the song internalized, play along with it. And even if it's not perfect, hey, you've pretty much learned a song where you could go and play it with the band at the end of the week, right? Even if you don't feel like you're great at it, nobody's great at this early on, but you get better at it because remember, we're doing this week after week. This is something we want to do every week. But we're not quite done. There's a little bit more we want to do here. So that's kind of the process for learning the song and getting going with it. We're listening, we're writing a simple shorthand chart. A lot of different ways to do this. There's not just one way. And so you find what works for you. And we're practicing the song. But hey, big step number 2, I want you to challenge yourself to make a video of you playing the song, even when it's not perfect. So when you get to the end of the week, like day 6 or 7, what I want you to do is pull out your phone, whatever device you want to record onto, and just make a video of you playing through the song. So you're listening to the song through headphones, you're playing on your drums, just make a video of you doing it. So probably the most powerful reason why you want to do this is because it puts you in the hot seat. It puts you in the hot seat where you see that you're being recorded, and it kind of puts you in performance mode. What I found back when I was in high school, when I first got dragged into the high school worship band, by the way, after a few months of doing that, I loved it and never looked back. And I would not be where I am today had it not been for getting dragged into that worship band. Sometimes it feels really tough and scary for a few weeks or a few months, but then you reach this point where it's like, you know what? If I mess up, the world doesn't end, things keep going. This is actually kind of fun. I can do this. And then it becomes really fun. But what I realized around that time was that I could prepare for playing with the band on Sunday morning by recording myself playing, even if I didn't even listen back to the recording. It was just the whole psychological thing of knowing I was being recorded. It put me in performance mode where it was like, all right, this is it. I've got to play well. If I mess up, I've just got to somehow keep going. No better way to practice messing up and keeping going than videoing yourself and imagining that thousands of people are watching you. And that actually really does go a long way. But of course, in addition to that, having a video of yourself or a good recording or both, it helps you self-evaluate. And self-evaluating is invaluable, especially for you self-taught drummers. I know there's a lot of you out there who are self-taught. Maybe you've taken lessons from time to time, but for the most part, you're maybe learning online. You're just teaching yourself just for the fun of it. And this is the absolute best way to teach yourself. Make videos and recordings of yourself. Go back and watch, and you can hear how you're doing. and get that instant feedback, which is incredibly helpful. So you know what to focus on, which means you save time practicing because you can focus on the things that you're not doing well and realize, like, you know what, I'm rushing a bunch. I'm rushing when I'm playing along with songs. Okay, focus on that. Focus on relaxing. That can be so critical. So you're able to self-evaluate, which is extremely important. But also what's cool here is when you're videoing yourself and you're making recordings in your basement, in your home studio, in your bedroom, whatever, knowing how you sound before actually going and playing with others is a huge confidence booster. Like if you've recorded yourself a whole bunch, that means you know what you sound like. The first time you hear yourself isn't, you know, when you're watching a video somebody made of you jamming or playing at church or playing with a band. You already know how you sound like, and so you already know, okay, I'm not the best drummer in the world, but I can hold down a groove. And that's a level of confidence. You know that you don't sound horrible, and it's great to know that you don't sound horrible going into your first playing with a band situation. And so that's what that will help you do, and that's what I found to be true when I was in high school. If I knew that if I could make half decent recordings of myself playing songs at home, then that meant, okay, at least I don't sound awful at church. I'm still learning, I'm still getting there. I don't sound great, but I know I'm not terrible. I know that I can do this, and so that was a big confidence booster for me. And if you're doing that, that's going to help prepare you so much for when that opportunity does come to play with a band. Now, here's a bonus step. This is not easy. This is not easy, but this will really push you. So here's the bonus. Perform the song, just you. So make a video of you playing the song, just you, without actually hearing the song in your head. So in other words, like take the headphones off and just play your drums, playing the song, remembering it all in your head. Remembering how it goes, hearing the melody, maybe keep the headphones on for ear protection because drums are loud, but don't listen to anything. No metronome, no song. You're just hearing the song in your head and trying to remember how it goes. Here's why this is cool. Here's why this is important. It is easier to play with a band than to play by yourself. This is what I found to be true. I didn't think this was going to be true early on when I first started playing with people. I always assumed that like playing with a band was going to be the hardest thing ever, and it was terrifying to me. But what I began to realize was that, you know, when you're playing with people, there are visual and oral cues throughout a song. Like you've got a vocalist who's singing here, you can follow. You're kind of just going where they go. If they mess up, you got to mess up with them. If they go to the chorus early, you got to go to the chorus early. Also, you can look at each other. You can cue each other. I've played gigs before where the bass player is really helping me out because we're playing songs I don't know. I got called last minute to that gig, and so the bass player is telling me, hey, stop right here. So we know where the breaks are. Okay, quiet down here. And so you can get cues like that from super helpful and encouraging band members so many times that actually make it easier to play with a band than play by yourself at home without the song recording in your head. Does that make sense? So here's what we're getting at. If at home you can play the whole song that you've learned by memory, just you playing, just naked drums, just you playing. If you can do that, then you can most definitely play with a band and play with people, because that means you have the capacity to completely learn and memorize a song, even if you're referencing your chart while you're doing this. Point is, you are able to do it without any safety net, because there's no safety net there. It's just you going at it. Know that when you're playing with a band, it's easier because then you've got all the stuff you're hearing and seeing, and that's actually extremely liberating and stress relieving. And so if you can do this bonus step of playing and then recording yourself again, just you playing, not listening to anything, no metronome or anything, and still sound pretty decent and not terrible, that is a tremendous confidence booster that shows you that you are absolutely ready to go play with a band. So make this your goal. Go through those 3 steps. Chart and learn 1 new song a week. Challenge yourself to make a video of you playing the song at the end of the week. And then when you're ready to start doing the bonus, maybe a few weeks into this, a month or so, you want to do that bonus step of performing the song just you, not any recording or anything, and filming yourself. That's what I mean by perform. Filming, recording yourself doing it, and that's going to help even more. If you do this, I promise you, you're going to get crazy results and you're going to grow a whole bunch. Here's what's going to happen in a year. I want you to think ahead, long term. Let's cast some vision here, because we need to dream. If we're not dreaming, then why are we doing this? Why are we playing the drums? Because we need to think into the future. Where can you go with this? How awesome of a drummer can you become in a year, in 12 months, if you do this? Well, after a year, you will have learned and performed 50 songs. I say 50 instead of 52 because you're bound to need to take a week off at some point. Everybody needs some vacations. Even if it's like 48 songs by the end of the year, that's awesome. And you might even get to where you can do more than 1 song in a week. But let's say 50. You've learned and performed, videoed 50 songs in a year. That's enough for a cover gig set list. A lot of cover bands have a set list of 20 or 30 songs, and that's all you need for a night. Some more, some less, but if you know 50 songs, that means that you know you have the capacity to listen, chart, and learn a song. You'll be so much better at that. Like, you will know the process. If a band sends you a set list, you'll already know, oh, here's what I do. I listen to the song, I write out my shorthand chart, I practice it. That's it, not rocket science. You know the process. And so you'll know exactly what to do when a jam session opportunity comes up, when the worship director at your church is like, hey, we really need a drummer. You've been playing. Can you please come play for us? You'll be able to say yes. You won't have to shy away from it. When there's a jam session, when there's a cover band that needs a drummer, you'll be able to jump on these opportunities when they come because you'll be prepared. And you can absolutely get there in a year. You can do this. So my question for you as we wrap up today, have you played with others yet? I just want to get a feel for where we stand out there. All of you watching this video, tell me, have you played with others yet? Even just jamming with a buddy counts. I was jamming with a buddy in high school before I started playing at my church. And that was a lot of fun. And that was some good preparation for playing with a band and playing in front of people. So even if you've just played with a buddy, a relative, like anybody else, a guitar player, bass player, piano player, whatever, that counts. Have you played with others yet? Yes or no? I'd love to hear. Let's get some discussion going below, and let's encourage each other, because this is the realm of drumming where we need all the encouragement we can get. And honestly, had the environment that I started playing in high school not been as encouraging as it was, I don't know how well I would have done, but it was a super encouraging group of kids that were in that worship band at the time. And I remember getting so much encouragement, even though I had to have sounded terrible. And so they were so gracious to me and so encouraging to me, and saw my potential and saw the progress I was making week after week, because I was working hard at it. I was practicing and trying to do the best I could. And so that kind of environment was so supportive. And so that's kind of the underrated thing here of, if you are able to play with people, the right people, being a part of that music community is going to elevate you so much more and so much more quickly, because it's not just you and you're not just alone anymore. And so that's definitely an extra tidbit I want to make sure you know. All right, today's been fun. This has been a cool lesson where we're not even playing. We're just talking about, mental stuff. But this has been so helpful to me and my students. I hope this helps you out too. I hope this is super valuable to you. Know that you can do this. I will see you on the next lesson. Stay non-glamorous, and don't forget to go grab that guide, 5 Steps to Learning Any Pop Song in Under an Hour. That's going to help you out a bunch. All right, I'll see you. Have a great weekend.